I know I'm late, okay? So the second spoiler alert is taking a long time, and I'm sorry. I was gonna try to have it out on September 23rd again, but I wasn't gonna work on it for a week straight again. That's what led to my least favorite parts of the first video. So I'm trying to polish this one a little more since Copper Gauntlet is my favorite of the series. I'm starting the editing this week. All of the frames are finished. Here's a preview. Oh, look at that. It's so pretty. I spent so fucking long on these. I'm starting the editing this week, so worst case scenario, 2 weeks or so. I'm not making any promises, but I just gotta edit it. I promise I'm working on it. Excuse time! I'm a masochist who's taking 18 credit hours this semester. For those of you still in middle or high school, this basically means I'm taking the same amount of classes with 10 to 20 times the workload depending on the week. I'm an engineering major, so everything sucks. For a microcosm of how this semester has been going, last week I had 1 homework on Monday, a 6-page paper due Tuesday, 2 homework assignments a day, due Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, followed by 2 tests and a major project due on Monday, and another test on Wednesday, on top of working on this video at least a little every day. I'm doing basically everything single-handed except the voice acting, which is why this is taking so long to make. Maybe for the next one I can pay my brother to help edit or something. We'll see. I don't know. I don't trust him. And he's also doing college classes, so I really appreciate your guys' patience. I really didn't expect so many people to watch the first one. I wasn't prepared to start working on the second one because I thought like 10 people would watch it. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, all of you who watched that video and liked it and commented. I really appreciate it. So just to tide you guys over for another few weeks, here's some unscripted reviews of the Magisterium series. Disclaimer, I haven't read any of these books in at least a year. I read Copper Gauntlet last December to write the script for the spoiler alert, and the 1st and 5th book last September. But it's been a while, like a year or two, since I've read the 3rd and 4th books, so this is only what I can remember. Take my opinions with a grain of salt because I may be remembering something wrong, or I may only be remembering the parts that frustrated me. Spoiler alert, a lot of this is negative. The Iron Trial. This book is really good. So I don't think it's the best in the series, but it's the intro. It's not supposed to be the best in the series. It's a really good introduction to the series and an introduction to the magic world. I know, like, I made the joke, a lot of people make the joke, oh, Magisterium's a Harry Potter ripoff, but, I mean, first of all, J.K. Rowling didn't invent magic schools, so you can't really call it a Harry Potter ripoff. I mean, you can, because the characters are extremely similar, but the magic system itself and the trajectory of where the series went is different enough that I wouldn't call it a flat-out ripoff. But it's obvious that it was inspired by it. What really makes this book so good is the ending. The authors of the series have a real knack for endings. Even in some of the books I didn't like of this series, the ending was phenomenal. And this one was even better because it had foreshadowing, and the twist was really interesting. And it completely changes the trajectory of the entire rest of the series. One thing I do need to mention is that the trope of nature versus nurturer, in terms of I am literally the reincarnation of this person, is one of my favorite tropes of all time, and the only 2 things I know that use this trope are Steven Universe and Magisterium, and I want more of it. It's so good. It's such a good trope. It's so easy to get this moral gray ambiguity with a side of angst, and you know, who doesn't love a little angst or a lot of angst? So yeah, Iron Trial, really good. 8 out of 10 I think I'd give it. Maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10, 7.5, somewhere in that range. Even though I'm finished with the spoiler alert for it, I might still reread it again. I reread it a bunch back when I was 14 when I first read it, but like, I might give it another reread just because of how good it is. Copper Gauntlet. This one is my favorite of the whole series. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. The only real cons I can think of with this book was that it was too short, which, you know, I want more of this. It's not the worst complaint you could get. The pacing was solid, so it wasn't that it was too short, like the pacing was off. It was just, I wanted there to be more, and there wasn't. The only other flaw I can think of off the top of my head is what the fuck was up with the chains in the basement? Like, was he actually planning on kidnapping his son? Why were those there? It's never brought up again. I make fun of this in the spoiler alert. What the fuck? So, yeah, those are the only two real flaws I can think of. Prose. I absolutely adore Call's Evil Overlord list. Because it's like, if you're keeping track of good deeds you do and bad deeds you do, and you're only doing something so you can put a point into the good list, are you really a good person? That's so interesting. It's such an interesting little dynamic Call has with himself, I guess. I don't know. It's a cool idea. And that scene where he tells his friends what he is absolutely phenomenal. It's perfect. 10 out of 10. I wouldn't change a thing about it. I love it to pieces. I had such a hard time making fun of that scene in the spoiler alert, because I'm like, how do I make fun of this? This is my favorite scene! And I'd probably put this book, and this book alone, on a list of the best books of all time. I don't know if I'd put Magisterium, the whole thing, on a list of favorite series of all time. I might, but Copper Gauntlet definitely deserves to be on the best standalone books. Even though it's part of a series, but you get the point. Copper Gauntlet's my favorite. Stanley deserved better. # Stanley's best girl. Don't use that hashtag, please. I'm trying to... Again, it's been a year since I've read this. I'm trying to think of... I wrote down a couple notes here, but I'm trying to remember anything else that I liked or disliked about it. Alex is a little shit. I love him. He's great. And... Copper Gauntlet, 9.5 out of 10. Bronze Key. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember anything about this book at all. In fact, I think it's been 3 years since I've read this one, because I don't remember a single fucking thing about it. If I'm remembering the timeline right, it came out when I was 16, and I read it once, and then never again. I read the first 2 books over and over again, because I really, really liked them, and then I only read Bronze Key once, so I don't remember anything that happened. I remember the ending was really good. Like, holy shit, they fucking murder Aaron. Like, of course I'm gonna think that's awesome. Well, I mean, awesome in a writing stance, not awesome in a not breaking my heart stance, but... I remember Captain Fishface, if that was the term they used. And then I don't remember it frustrating me like the other ones frustrated me. I'm gonna talk about that in a second, but I remember it being just as good as The Iron Trial, but I don't remember anything specifically about it I really liked besides the ending, and I liked all of the endings, so of course. I guess I'll give it a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10 if I reread it and find all the good things, but it's been 3 years since I've read it, so I remember nothing. I'm gonna have to reread it if and when I do a third spoiler alert. There's gonna be one, just I don't know how soon, because they take a long ass time to make. Anyway, Bronze Key, 7 out of 10. Silver Mask. Okay, the prose. I absolutely love the premise. The idea that Call is being forced to follow in Constantine's footsteps. He even admits he understands how Constantine felt when his brother died, because his quote-unquote best friend died. I'm sorry, I had to make that joke, but I like that premise, because again, it leads to so much angst, and who doesn't love angst? The cons. I don't give a shit about Cole and Tamara's love life right now. Are you fucking kidding me? Aaron's dead. Really not the time to be making out, guys. They act like they're 12-year-olds in this, and I just don't give a shit. I get that it's a coping mechanism, like, oh, our best friend is dead, let's gravitate towards each other even harder as a coping mechanism or whatever, but like, guys, not the time to make out. Your lives are on the line, your friend's dead, Alex is here, why don't you punch him in the face or something? But like, what are you doing? Stop! So, yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I mean, if you liked it, that means you could enjoy this book much more than I can, and I'm super jealous, because I normally don't mind romantic subplots, but, like, could they have any less chemistry, honestly? Oh, also, the thing that pissed me off even more than the shitty romantic subplot was they fucking ruined Constantine. Constantine isn't interesting because he's evil. He's interesting because he and Call are the same person. That's what makes it interesting. Call's dynamic, I guess, with Constantine is what makes him interesting. So when you go and just say, oh, Constantine was evil the whole time. No, he wasn't, because he's you. And if he was evil the whole time, so were you! Because you're the same person! So if Constantine was evil before anything pushed him to be evil, then you are admitting you are evil. That's how that works. It's a one-to-one comparison. You're the same fucking person. So, yeah, that whole scene where he was reading Jericho's diary, fuck that. Fuck no. Stop. Like, just cut out that scene entirely. Cut it out. Just cut it out. But it saved itself. It got interesting again after they brought Aaron back to life. And oh, what do you know? That is the part of the book where Tamara fucking left. I love Tamara. Why do you do this to me? The ending was really good and it saved itself. So it's like a 5 or 6 out of 10, maybe a 4 if I reread it and get annoyed again. But the ending saved it from being the worst book in the series. I sat down and I read this book in like 2 hours, and I was sitting there just like, the whole time, until the ending where I wanted to flip a table. The ending saved it. It could have been great, but it wasn't. So, The Golden Tower. Let's start with the positives. Alex is fucking great. I absolutely love how Saturday morning cartoon villain he gets. 10 out of 10, Alex is great. I wouldn't change a thing about him. And also, he goes full nice guy, and if you don't know what nice guy is, oh boy. But he goes full nice guy on Kimya, whatever the fuck her name is, Tamara's sister, and that's great. Alistair turning into an elemental, my heart, how dare you? I thought that was really good. I mean, not for my heart, but, like, it was good, like, from a writing standpoint. It was, I don't want to say it was foreshadowed, but, like, it seemed like it was an inevitability, and Alistair, he's great, so, yeah. I don't think I'm selling this. That scene made me cry, so that's the only reason this book is not in the trash right now. I also like the mentality that these children have at the end. It's like, hey, we gotta kill Alex anyway because he's a fucking sociopath, so why not just borrow his body for our friend here? Oh, guys, can you not commit murder before you're legally allowed to vote? But that was fantastic. It rides that same morally gray line that I thought made these characters interesting in the first place. So, yeah, that all is good. Now it's time to talk about the cons. What the fuck? Constantine is really some other guy? What the fuck? What the fuck? I want to say his name was Marcus, but I literally can't fucking remember. No, Marcus was that elemental guy, the fire elemental. What the fuck was his name? For the sake of simplicity, I'm calling him Megamort, because this would be like if in Harry Potter they said, oh, Voldemort, it wasn't Voldemort who came back, it was some even eviler dark wizard named Megamort. And Megamort is the villain now. It's like, but why? You had an interesting quote-unquote antagonist in Constantine. What the fuck is with Megamort? In my opinion, this was just a retcon for why Constantine never brought anyone back from the dead, because in the first 3 books, I mean, not the 4th one, because fuck me, but in the first 3 books, Constantine said he would do anything to get Jericho back, even using another person's body and or part of his soul. I mean, Call said, oh, Constantine would never do something like this. I was like, but he would? Because you would? And you're the same fucking person? Fucking... So they introduced that, oh, Constantine wasn't really Constantine, he was some other guy who didn't give a shit about Jericho, and then it's never brought up again. Fucking Megamort. Why does Constantine and Call also have to be all of the dark wizards from forever to make forever? It makes no sense. And they never bring it up again. He literally goes, oh, I am the incarnation of all evil in this world. Well, time to go about our day and never bring this up again. No foreshadowing, no sense, such a retcon, fuck you. So, if you haven't read book 5 yet, just skip that section. It'll make equally as much sense. Actually, you know what? It'll make more sense. So just skip that part because fuck that part. It ruined everything. I was liking the book up until then, and then I was like, what the fuck? And that's literally all I can remember from the book because it frustrated me so much. I don't even remember if the 5th book was good, because all I can remember is Megamort, so I'm not giving it a rating, because fuck you. I'm sorry. Megamort frustrates me so much, and I'm trying not to scream because I don't know how many people are still asleep, but fuck Megamort, you know? Like, you bet your ass, when I get to the Golden Tower, spoiler alert, I'm gonna make fun of that to high heaven. And the first time I wrote, I blotted out some points the first time I wrote it, I totally forgot that Call's dad got turned into a devoured, even though there was a really sad scene and an excellent twist that made me cry, but I didn't remember because of fucking Megamort. It frustrated me too much to remember that part that I liked. Overall, I really like the series. It just went a little bit downhill. It peaked at Copper Gauntlet, but it didn't stay that good. And it is probably still on my list of favorite book series of all time. Not super high. If it had ended at Copper Gauntlet, even without a satisfying, if it had kept up the quality of Copper Gauntlet, it would be in top 5, but it's in top 10. So, yeah. But if none of these bother you, then this is a 10 out of 10 series, because it's good. It's got one or two huge flaws that ruin everything, but other than that, it's great. I could also chalk this up to I haven't reread them enough to remember the good shit. I only remember the stuff that frustrated me and kept me up at night wondering what the fuck they were thinking. So that whole scene with Megamort takes 5 pages, 10 pages tops? And then they never bring it up again, so if you just skip it, that book's great. I want to start a couple other books in spoiler alert, but I'll try not to keep you guys waiting super long for part 3. I've already started working on a script for a How to Train Your Dragon spoiler alert. If you haven't read that book series, you should. It's really, really good, and I've been rereading it recently. I'm reading book 8 right now, but I'm like, I want to do a spoiler alert for the first one. So that'll probably be the next one. I don't know if I'm only gonna do one of these a year. They take a long time to make. The first Magisterium one had 300 individual frames, and then Copper Gauntlet has 250, I think. It's a shorter book, so it was less stuff to draw. So that's a lot of drawing, and then also getting all my friends together to voice act, and then also writing a script, and then also spending 2 weeks editing it. I'm really learning as I go, so these take a while, but I don't want to keep you guys waiting for a Bronze Key one. I don't have the book with me at college right now, so that's an excuse for why it might take a little longer. But the next one will probably be How to Train Your Dragon, and then I might do Bronze Key, and then I might do another one, and then go back to Magisterium, flip-flop. Eventually I want to do one for The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding. That book's really good, and there's no fandom for it, so I'm gonna make fun of that one. 6 of Crows, that one's my favorite book series of all time, so I definitely want to talk about that one. Percy Jackson, I don't know. I wrote a part of it when I was rereading the first book, so I'm he just fucking chops off some guy's head and then gets no consequences for it. But that one's kind of mainstream, so I might do it, I might not, we'll see. There's a lot of other books that I've read that are not on my list. But I've learned my lesson about promising anything, because I was promising back in December that I was working on this, and then it's not out until next October. I'm sorry. But I will do the rest of the series in between any other spoiler alerts I do. And ideal scenario, one every 6 months, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Because again, long ass time to make. And I'm also working on other projects, and also a comic, and also an engineering school. So my free time is extremely limited. We'll see. Hopefully I won't take a year in between every spoiler alert, but college is hard and I refuse to make any promises. Subscribe if you haven't so you can watch spoiler alert for Copper Gauntlet in a few weeks and a few other videos I have planned, along with whatever future I can manage for spoiler alert going forward. I actually really do like making these, even though it's a lot of hard work. The best part about making them is when you're recording a line or you're rewatching something to make sure it flows and it makes you laugh, and that's when you know you did a good job. Because I'm watching it and I'm trying to record a line and I keep laughing in the middle of it. It makes it so much harder to record, but you just know you're doing a good job because you're laughing, and if you're laughing, that's all that matters. Hopefully it'll make other people laugh, but it made you laugh, which meant it was a success. So subscribe, like this video if you want. It's kind of rambly, but who doesn't like likes? Copper Gauntlet is coming soon. I'm starting the editing this week. It's partially my brother's fault. He needs to get me the rest of the lines that got erased when our recording session, the microphone crapped out halfway through. So I'm missing half the lines. So he needs to send that to me, and he hasn't yet, so it's partially his fault. I mean, it's also my fault for procrastinating, but shut up. So subscribe, catch Copper Gauntlet in a few weeks. That'll be my next video. I'm not going to do another speed paint in between. Yeah, so bye.